Imagine standing in an open field. The grass around you is dry, golden, whispering in the wind. The sky above is enormous, the kind of sky you only find in the deep plains of South America, where the horizon stretches so far, it feels like the edge of the world. Now imagine a shadow, not the shadow of a cloud, not the shadow of a plane, a shadow with wings, a shadow that moves, a shadow that breathes. 6 million years ago, something ruled this sky that no living creature today can even come close to matching. Not the bald eagle with its 7-foot wingspan, not the condor, the largest flying bird alive, not even the wandering albatross, which holds the record for the widest wings on Earth today. None of them, not even close. What ruled this sky was Argentavis magnificens, the magnificent bird of Argentina. And magnificent is not a word scientists use lightly. Let us put this into perspective right now, because the numbers alone do not do it justice. The harpy eagle has an impressive and powerful wingspan, being a truly terrifying creature if you are a monkey in the canopy. But the titanic Argentavis magnificens had a wingspan of up to 23 feet. An immense shadow stretched across the sky, a colossal mass living, breathing, and hunting, whose body stood nearly 6.5 feet tall. It weighed as much as an adult man, and yet, impossibly, it flew and dominated the air with absolute mastery. This is the incredible story of the largest flying creature most people have never heard of. We are in the late Miocene epoch, millions of years ago. The towering Andes mountains are still rising, already high enough to carve the continent's climate into something dramatic. To the east, the vast open plains of the Pampas stretch for hundreds of miles. The air is warm and the thermals, invisible columns of hot air, spiral upward like hidden stairways into the sky. And Argentavis magnificens knew exactly how to use them. This is where the fascinating story of this giant becomes extraordinary. Scientists discovered something that initially seemed impossible. This immense bird almost certainly could not maintain powered flight. Its chest muscles were relatively small for a bird of its size. It could not flap those colossal wings continuously, as the energy cost for its massive body would have been totally catastrophic. So how did it fly? In the same way a glider does, crossing an entire ocean without landing using dynamic soaring. The titanic Argentavis magnificens simply let the planet do all the hard work. It would catch a rising column of hot air and spiral upward, gaining height without a single muscular flap. Then it would glide forward at great speeds, covering miles of terrain while barely moving a single muscle. Think about that. A creature the weight of an adult man moving at high speed through the air, using nothing but the physics of the atmosphere in this perfectly designed ancient world. It was not just an ordinary bird flying in the past. The great Argentavis magnificens was a living airplane, perfectly shaped by 6 million years of relentless biological evolution. To achieve rising in the first place was the true challenge. Its wings were so wide that if it tried to flap them while standing on flat ground, the tips would strike the earth of the ancient world with force. For this reason, paleontologists believe that Argentavis magnificens positioned itself on the edges of high cliffs, running downhill into the prevailing wind until the sky swallowed it completely. Once in the air, it dominated an immense territory of open plains, scanning the terrain from above. The visual processing centers in its brain were extraordinarily developed, acting as a strategic aerial observer. Its hooked beak suggests that it could tear flesh, but the jaw indicates something more dramatic. The colossal Argentavis magnificens may have swallowed small prehistoric mammals whole in a single swift movement. Imagine being a small creature grazing under the afternoon sun. The grass is warm, but suddenly, a swift and silent shadow appears over the damp earth of the Miocene. But the great Argentavis magnificens was not alone. The Miocene of South America was a continent of monsters. On the ground, the fearsome terra birds, the non-flying predatory forest racids, ruled the land with cruelty. The fearsome kelinken, the largest of them, possessed a massive skull. While these fearsome terra birds hunted on the ground, Argentavis magnificens kept watch from the heights, making concentric circles in the stormy currents. When the land predators finished, the colossal Argentavis magnificens descended majestically to claim the spoils. In this world of prehistoric giants, this magnificent bird sat firmly at the very top of the food chain. How long did Argentavis live? Paleontologists believe this magnificent creature may have lived for decades in the past. A single individual saw the prehistoric landscape change for half a century, being a true witness to geological time. Because it lived so long and reproduced slowly, raising a single chick, its population was always small. This evolutionary strategy worked perfectly for millions of years in the fossil record of our planet. It survived the ice ages and the collision of the continents. But approximately 10,000 years ago, the last great Argentavis magnificens spread its wings across the South American sky and never landed again. The rapid climate change brought a relentless transformation. The great open plains it depended on began to disappear. Without the large carcasses of the megafauna to feed on, the titanic Argentavis magnificens had nowhere to go in this world. A majestic species that had survived millions of years of planetary upheaval completely unraveled in a geological instant due to the slow pressure of a changing environment. The great Argentavis magnificens was one of evolution's greatest achievements, a creature so perfectly designed for its environment that when the world changed, it simply ceased to exist. Today, the closest living relative is the Andean condor, an impressive creature with its large wingspan. But this current condor is less than half the size of its ancient prehistoric ancestor. A shadow of a shadow. Imagine the Pampas at dawn, where the air is fresh and the light is golden, horizontal, cutting the tall grass into long, warm lines inside this vast ancient world. On a ridge, something massive moves, stretching slowly and deliberately as two gigantic wings unfold majestically. 23 feet of feather and bone catching the first morning thermal without flapping or struggling at all. It simply leans into the heavy wind and rises into the clouds. That is Argentavis magnificens, the flying terror that dwarfed every eagle today. Can you imagine what it would have been like to look up and see this titan block the sun? Leave your mark in the comments, give this video a like, and subscribe so you do not miss the next video.